Are you a home buyer or current homeowner looking for the best time of year that you should be getting a mortgage or purchasing a home? What if there were a specific time of year that could give you a competitive advantage in the marketplace? Well, in today's video here, I'm going to show you the exact times of year that are best for buying, selling, and refinancing property. And I discuss the specific timelines and details of what you can do ahead of schedule to prepare. Check it out.
What is the best time of year then to buy a home?
The best time to buy a home from a financial standpoint may be different than the best time to buy a home from a personal circumstance standpoint. So you really want to look at that, because you're not going to buy a home while you're switching jobs, right?
Well,
you're not going to
right.
buy a home when you have a vacation planned in the middle of that process. Of course, you shouldn't. Some people do, but that is something that you need to look at. Now, as far as the actual numbers, the financials of it, fall and winter is going to be the best time to be a home buyer, because that's the time when that cooler weather comes in, and that's the time when homes tend to sell for less. So every real estate transaction I've been involved in, I've always bought between like October and March. Every single one. You got to realize that buyers with children, and the majority of people buying homes are going to be families. So those people don't want to uproot their family in the middle of a school year, and they want to wait until the end of that so they have more free time for moving, for looking at properties, and the chance of a fresh start when the school year begins. So I'm talking about moving into a new school district or a different school. So studies have shown that the busiest time of year actually is the summer, like we're saying, with June being the busiest month for moving. And the single busiest day is July 31st. That's the single busiest day. In addition to that, you're going to find that a lot of people don't like moving during the holidays, right? There's vacations planned, there's outings planned. And that really eliminates the period between November and January, because you've got Thanksgiving, you've got Christmas, Hanukkah, all that. Then you've got New Year's. And then what I've found in almost my 20 years of experience in the industry is that January, mid-January, just things really tick up, because everyone's got their New Year's resolutions. You've kind of been on the back burner with a lot of things on a personal level with your finances and whatnot. And people go into that new year with a lot of goals, with a lot of ambitions. And it's right around that second week to third week in January that people start putting those plans into action. So I always see a huge uptick of people looking to buy, sell, and refinance around that, beginning of the year. So I'll tell you some great stories. One would be a client that bought their home in January of last year, and then we had the property appraised the end of the summer this year, so just about a month ago. And yes, there has been a huge increase in appreciation, like you said, but what they were able to do was they were actually able to get out of their FHA loan, get rid of their PMI, cash out to pay off all this debt that they had accumulated renovating the property and whatnot. They were able to do all that in like a 1.5 timeline. Why? Because they understood this seasonality. Had they gotten their home appraised in the middle of the winter, they wouldn't have been able to accomplish all these things. So everyone gets so wrapped up, and we've talked about in other episodes about interest rates and how much money can I save and all this, but none of that matters if you can't actually get the right program, if you can't solve your financial goals and solve your financial issues. So that's why maybe you end up with a little bit higher rate, because that has to do with the economy and some things out of our control. But if you're able to accomplish all these other things, is it worth paying a little bit more interest to accomplish a lot more of your goals? You see where I'm going with that. So PMI removal is something we've talked about extensively. That's where this can just very easily and simply come into play, is someone that buys their home in the winter in, let's say, January, February, and then we go in like August or September of the same year, have that home reappraised. You'd be surprised how many people all of a sudden go from having 3 to 5% equity to 10 to 20% equity. Literally within a 12-month timeline, same property, everything being equal, just the time of year that we're having it appraised is the only difference. But again, a lot of mortgage companies and loan officers, you're going to contact them to refinance, and they're just going to want to get an appraiser out there right away. They're not going to be looking at the strategy behind it. They're not going to be looking at the timeline of all this, and you're going to end up getting a low appraisal, or maybe it does come in higher than what you bought it for, but it doesn't accomplish all of your goals. See, I think that what it comes down to, Gary, is you want to buy in the winter and you want to refi in the summer, early fall. That's it. If you can time it perfectly, those are going to give you the best price when you buy and then the highest price when you actually go to refinance, because it's two opposite ends. You want to buy low, right? But when you refi, you want that high value. And that's what you're going to get in that summer and early fall. That's why experience matters. Knowing these strategies, implementing these strategies every single day. This is what they're not talking to you about at the big banks, at the credit unions. They don't understand this stuff. They don't have the experience to advise you to do this to maximize your success, not just put another loan in the books. I hope you found value in today's lesson, and hopefully now you see that there are specific times a year that you can be buying, selling, or refinancing property in order to gain a leg up in the marketplace. Go ahead and hit subscribe. Also click the bell so you get notified on all of our future content, and follow us throughout social media. If I can be of assistance to you or anyone that you know, I am licensed in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Florida. I can be reached by call, text, or private message at 860-413-3938. Talk to you soon, and take care.